Hi, I'm Eric Friedman. I'm the Executive Director of the Mad River Valley Chamber of Commerce, and we're here for our educational series, and we're going to do a program about Instagram basics. So I appreciate everyone coming out. We're going to try to show this up on the screen so you can see what I'm doing on here, in theory. And there's my little Instagram icon, so we're going to be starting with this. Before I get started, one of the things I want to talk about, I was involved in marketing at Mad River Glen for over 24 years, all right? And we didn't have enough money to play with the big boys in terms of marketing and advertising and things like that. The advent of the internet, which was not happening as much when I started, transformed what we were able to do at Mad River. And that's one of the things that I'm really trying to do here. And it really, what's great about social media, it gives little guys the opportunity to play with the big boys. And if you do it well, you can be really successful with it. That all being said, I'm not going to claim I'm any great Instagram expert. I'm pretty decent at it, and I'm learning all the time. But you have to keep in mind that couple of things. Number one, social media is rapidly changing all the time. And there's new things all the time. So you have to stay on it. And I always think the most important thing is to use it and be consistent. There are no mistakes. I mean, the worst thing you're going to do is post something that's not successful. Or I guess you could really do something bad. But the worst thing that's going to happen is no one will look at it. So don't worry so much about making mistakes and try to monitor what it is that is working. Okay? And the other thing I want to point out about Instagram or any other vehicle of marketing is that it's one leg of the stool of what you're trying to do. I mean, Instagram is not the be-all and end-all. It's not the panacea for all your problems. It's just like Facebook isn't. There's different reasons to use Facebook. There's different reasons to use Instagram. There's different reasons to use print advertising or pay-per-click or public relations, traditional public relations. There's all sorts of different things that you can do to market your business, but what's most important is that you plan it. And I'm a huge proponent of marketing planning. And if anyone wants to talk about how to create a marketing plan, if you don't have one, please talk to me later. That's something I really want to, that's really my wheelhouse, and that's something that I really like talking about, and I think it's one of the things that I really try hard to do, because with planning, you can really get a better understanding of where you're going and what you're trying to do. It's really important to really figure out what your goals are. Marketing generally, okay? And then looking at the different ways to market, Instagram being one of them, okay? So again, not the be-all and end-all, and I think, again, just keep that in mind, that you gotta be consistent, you gotta use it, and if you practice, it's just like anything else. It's just like any program that you use on a computer. The more you use it, the more you get used to it. And as I'm having trouble with my Apple world and entering Apple world, I feel your pain. So what I'd like to do, oops, let's get started here. I'll get this mirroring. So, all right, this is pretty fancy here. So we are mirroring my phone now. And this is the Mad River Valley Instagram account, and we're going to use this as the basic example. The first thing that's really important is to make sure that you set up a business account, not a personal account. Business accounts are open to everyone and can be viewed by anyone. Personal accounts not necessarily. So a lot of people, me included, when Instagram started, I started out an Eric Friedman Instagram account, which kind of morphed into Mad River, and it was a nightmare. So please just be aware of that. That's really first and foremost. Okay. A couple of things up here just to point out. The little hamburger menu up here, that is more account information, things like that, more in-depth things. Don't worry so much about that at this point, okay? What I want to focus on is more is what you're looking at here. And again, I want to keep in mind, this is real Instagram basics, all right? I'm not getting into super in-depth. We can get into that later, and I'm going to have some more.
Keep tapping your phone.
Oh. Yeah, geez. Okay. Thank you.
On low power.
No, it's not on low power mode. It's weird. So, what I want to point out is that we're trying to kind of keep it basic today. and we're going to do some more more in-depth things in the future, and I'd like to bring some more esteemed guests in, because there's some folks around here that are doing it really, really well. And that's one of the other things I would really encourage you is when you're looking on Instagram, look at who's doing it well, all right? And I'm going to try to point out some local ones as well as some not so local ones. But the first thing is these numbers up here. The post is how many posts we've made, okay? That's these things down here, okay? That's how many people are following Mad River Valley. That's 1,274. And we're following 171. Most of those 171 are, if you'll say, this is who we're following. And if you notice, it's most of the businesses here, obviously, and some personal things as well. But you can see, and then from here, you can go, okay, so here, look at the Warren store, and this is what the Warren store is doing. But this is a way you can see, you want to make sure you're following people of interest or businesses of interest that your customers or potential customers would be interested in as well. Okay, so that's what the numbers up there are. Down here, this is your home, okay, and that's going to take you to your home, and this is your feed. And these are all the people that are following MadRiverValley.com. And what I love about Instagram is when you're caught up, it tells you you're caught up. Okay, so everything down here, if you look down below here, things that I've liked. Okay, this is a great one. Complexions to this day. We're going to like that because that's a great chamber member. We love them. And yeah.
So all caught up means you've looked at
everything.
The
Exactly.
posts of the people you're following.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to go back to the home screen.
Eric, does it do that even like if you go in and you do a session of like looking at everything,
Yeah.
and you haven't gotten to the bottom of everything?
It's not good. If you haven't gotten to the bottom of everything, it's not going to come up for a while. So that's one of the reasons, again, use Instagram. Like, check it every day. Don't, like, I always yell at my kids for like, all right, look at your damn phone. They're like, no, you're working. It's okay to be doing this, you know? Check it a lot. And the thing about social media is immediacy is really important. So if someone likes it or someone direct messages you, you got to be on that. It's really good. So, so that's what that is. All right. So we have the home screen, and that home screen takes us to our feed. This is the search, and this is where we're going to search for a particular business or something that's maybe interesting you. Okay. I'm going to search for. Oh, look, Soar Sugar. We do not follow them. Oh, yes, I do follow them already. Okay. So that's how you search Sugar for Soar. Okay. And there it is there. Okay. So if you go back, oops. So that's the search. The plus right here, this is how you add a post. Okay. These are the posts. If I want to add a new one, I go there. And this is a picture I just took before we started. Okay. So I've not posted this yet. And I'm not going to post this because I'm going to do that in a different way. But we'll get into posting more. But I just want to show you what the basic menus look like. The little heart is who's interacting with you. So these are the people that I posted. I went out to dinner at Sage last night. Mussels were fabulous, okay? And I took this great picture of them, and these are the people that liked it, so you can see the activity and who's looking at it. It's important to look at that because then you know who's looking at it, okay? And then the bottom one here is goes to your homepage or your home information. Again, Mad River Valley, so we're back there. Now, the posts with how many following you, we went over that already. Promotions. Oh, the promotions right here. I don't want to get into that today. This is the basics. We're going to talk about promotions later. That's pay to play. That's how Instagram makes their money. And it's a valuable tool. But I would encourage folks, especially just starting out, to get things figured out before you start spending money on it, okay? And editing the profile is really, really important, okay? And this is what we have going on, all right? So we have our name, we have our username, And these are important to make sure that they're really your business, that they're really what it is that you're trying to promote, okay? You'll have your website here, and there's a link in there, so if you go back, and you'll see, this is really important, you see there's a link right here, and I go to Mad River Valley Events, and it links right to our website. And I have it linked to go to our calendar of events, okay?
Eric, how did you get into editing your profile?
Can you repeat the question, Eric?
Yeah, okay, Joni was asking how to edit your profile. You go right up on there, you hit edit
Is
profile.
that from your homepage?
Yeah, right, exactly, yep, so like, I'm clicking, there's my homepage, I hit that,
Oh,
and then just hit edit profile,
I see, okay.
okay?
Thank you.
And again, there's no linking in Instagram, okay? You can't put a link in a post unless you have over 10,000 followers, and I don't think anyone in this room does. Do you?
No, you can put a link, it's just not clickable.
It's exactly, and you can cut and paste it, exactly. But the only place you can have a link that's live is in your profile. So
So that's all.
one of the tricks to use is, let's say, Mad River Glen, I was promoting an event. I was promoting our mobile competition or something like that, and I'm looking for registration. Maybe a couple days out, I'm going to send out I'm going to post an Instagram post, and I'm going to say in the post, for registration information, click on the link in the profile. And people on Instagram are used to doing that. Or as Keith said, put the link there and you can cut it and paste it. All right? So that's really the only way you can do that. Whoops, I lost it again. All right, there we go. I got to keep tapping, right?
That's what I said.
Yep, I'm trying. I'm talking and tapping. All right, so that's what, okay, so there's anything else to do with edit the profile that's important? I'm trying to do it on the screen here.
Eric, I have a question. So username, if it was already claimed, you couldn't get that name?
Correct. And,
Repeat
and
the
that's
question.
hard.
Repeat the question.
Oh, yeah,
If
No,
if
you.
had
No, I know.
Mad River Valley, if that
Yes.
username
This is
had
microphone.
been claimed before, you couldn't have gotten it.
correct. Exactly. So what she's asking is what if the name is taken? You got to find something close. Like Sage is a great example. If you look at, I'll do a search for Sage Restaurant, and this is an interesting one because it's Dine at Sage, and I would argue this is it's a dicey one because I was there last night and I was literally going through this. I was asking Gene, hey, what's the hashtag that you use? Okay. And sage is probably a pretty common thing as a spice, so it was probably taken. Doing VT, like VT collection, right? Because the collection was already taken, I assume. So it's really important to try to have something as close to your name as you can possibly get, okay? And to be consistent with it. And in all of your other marketing, you're talking about it. If you're doing posters, you're doing flyers, your business cards, things like that, it's really important to have that on there, okay? This is weird with the haircuts,
Yeah.
okay? So we'll go back to this for a second. So that's the profile. And one of the things, let me show you one other thing here I was eyeing here. Oops. Yeah, I'm gonna go down to Sugarbush because I want to show you what Sugarbush is doing. You can see Sugarbush comes up, and you'll notice that Sugarbush has multiple accounts. The golf club has their own. I think that Rumbles I think has their own. But you'll see what they do here, and if you look at their profile and how they do things. Look at the big guys for good ideas because Sugarbush hires someone to do social media. That's like all they do. And the other ones, the J Peaks of the world, the other big businesses, this is what they're doing. And you can get a real bunch of good ideas about what they're doing. Okay. So going back to here, I want to show you the difference between stories and posts. Do people know the difference between stories and posts? All right. really want to do this as a touchscreen. Come on.
Remember that low budget you have? Yes.
Yes, I do remember the low budget.
We need more memberships.
These are posts, okay? These are posts, and when you click on this is the stories, okay? And the difference is that posts last forever, okay? Unless you delete them. Stories last for 24 hours, okay? There's two different purposes behind this. Stories are, you don't have to worry so much about the quality. I mean, obviously you always want quality, but it's more of, this is what's going on today, okay? So for example, so yesterday, it was just raining out, right? And it's short, and you'll see, there's little bars, these are different things. I went across the street, I talked to the ladies of All Things Bright and Beautiful, real fun, and there she is. And I'm using this to justify my existence, that I'm like actually out working. So, working, as my kid said. Yeah, and the reason we have this is people, our visitors and our local people want to see what's going on here in Valley. So I'm trying to show them as I'm traveling around, this is what's going on. This is my dinner at Sage last night. All right. And then it goes back to the end. Did someone have a question? Yes.
I mean, maybe I'm a grumpy old guy, but, which we all know.
Yes.
But there's a generational thing between stories and posts, because I can't take looking videos on my phone. I don't like Facebook videos. I don't like videos in my news stream. I want to read the story. I want to see the picture.
You're unusual.
I just hate videos.
Yep.
So
I found, I mean, the question is videos versus stills. Yeah, I hate to tell you, my experience, videos do better than photos.
my
The
video,
algorithms are going for the videos too.
my video posts, my video posts get about 3 times as many likes as my still posts do.
Mm-hmm.
However, but I've never done a story, and I hope I never have to.
Because,
It's just too much stuff. I mean, I've got stories on Facebook now. It's got 8 different things. Whenever I open Facebook, there's 8 different story pages, and I never looked at a single one of them. And I hope I don't have to. It's just
it's
too many levels of playing here
yes.
for my old mind to handle.
I hear you. I don't know what to tell you. You're absolutely right. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of your customers are,
Yeah.
and potentially, and depending on your business, with skiing, Mad River, it was something that we were really aiming, especially for a younger market. So it was really important. You got to keep in mind a couple of things. You mentioned Facebook. Don't forget, Facebook owns Instagram. Okay, so they're all connected. The story idea came from Snapchat. That was where that came up, and because those younger people under the age of 25 and 30, that's what they're using. So there's definitely a reason to use stories, and there's certain things like you're gonna not like, and I don't like Twitter. I don't use Twitter, and that's a decision that I've made. I decided that from my purposes at the ski area and my purposes here. I don't think it's that important, except from a PR level, and I only have so much bandwidth to deal with. So you got to pick and choose what you're going to do. But going back to stories versus posts, stories are a way to share multiple photos and videos, and they'll appear for 24 hours and then they go away. They're in an archive, so like if you go here and you can create, if you see these buttons down here. These are what we call highlights, okay? So what I wanted to highlight, and the highlights do stay forever, okay? So when I started at the Chamber, we didn't have any of these, and one of the things that I really wanted to do was, our job is to highlight our local businesses. So I created this local biz highlights. And as I'm going around town, I'm taking pictures of local business owners, okay? And this is on a slideshow, you notice I'm not touching it, okay? And it's going to go, there's the Warren store, and you can see, so this was a repost that I did. It's Clearwater Sports. But what you can also do, if you really want to move through this, if you hit the right-hand side, I can scroll through them as fast as I can. Like this. Oh, look. There she is. It was so funny.
Can you explain how you?
Yes, I'm gonna get, yes, I will definitely get that. And that's one of the other, so these are our local businesses, and again, I'm hitting the right-hand side, and if I go to the left-hand side, I go back, okay? It says Warren Star, and these are all of our local businesses, okay? And I want this to live here because that's what we're trying to promote, okay? To get out of it, I hit the X, and that brings me back, okay? I created another one, Valley Views, and these are just views of the valley, you know? And these were things that I had posted on the story at some, whatever day this was. And you can see how many people have looked at it. And again, this is a repost, Maverick Valley Photo, they post great stuff. And I reposted that. This is my daily morning commute, okay? And you can have all sorts of, you know, fun doing this. And yeah, this is from the roundup, right? I have no idea what I was thinking with that one. Ginger took this one morning, and this is Ginger on her way to work. And she's like, oh, this is great. It's not just your business. It's like your community, it's your people, it's, you know, your personal life. It's things that you're doing. That's what intrigues people about Instagram, is that you can tell a story about what, you know, beyond just what products you sell. This was a great example. Wendy sent me this picture a couple of mornings, you know, a week or two ago. If you get into a network, like, I was so appreciative that he sent me that, because obviously I can't be everywhere, and being able to use it, that was a really powerful picture that did really well. And again, actually you can look at the numbers. Well, actually on that one, it wasn't so great. I thought it was more. But you can see how many people have seen it. It's not huge numbers, but you know, you get a sense of what we're doing. This was the Plein Air Festival last weekend, and this was great. People really liked that one. That was a good one. So that's how we go back. So again, stories are a way, quick, what's going on. Now you asked, and before I go into how to do that, the posts you need to be more thoughtful on, because they're going to live there forever, okay? Or until you can obviously delete them at any time. They should be focused on quality, building your brand, again, thinking about what it is that that's going to be enticing to your potential customers or your existing customers. So there's a lot of, you know, things to think about. What I'm trying to do is I'm always trying to promote our local businesses. And what you'll notice here, I try to, this is something, I'll show you. This is one that Lawson's posted, beautiful image. People love this, right? So I reposted it, okay? And I use the thing, and I'm a little reluctant to get into this with you guys now, but I just want to show you. This is called Repost. And what that does is I really don't want to get into this right now, because it basically, it's another app where I can repost I should pull one up here again, like this one. It doesn't make it look like it's reposted. And I put the Lawson's Finest, it automatically puts their tag right on it. So it goes right there, just a lot better. And that's, again, a more in-depth thing for reposting. But again, what I'm trying to do is beautiful pictures of our beautiful community, our local businesses, and events that are going on. So here's, I don't have the sound up, but this is talking about the Plein Air. It's Gary, I can talk about the Plein Air Festival. Plein Air Festival? Did I get it right? So that, those are the sorts of things that we're trying to do. All of this, in theory, should be building our brand, okay? I can do something a little off-brand on the stories, because it's not living forever, and I can have some fun with it and things like that. One of the things I want to show you about, let me show you something that I was thinking about, like ways to use the stories, okay? So I showed you how I use the highlights. Oops. I don't know. I should. Love the Mad River Fiber now. Been really, and I even got the name right this time, right? All right. One of the things that, if you notice that they do, is she doesn't have, there's no story. So if you click, you'll see a little circle around it if it's active. So there's nothing here, I click on it, so nothing happens. If people don't know what the Mad River Fiber Mill does, is they take raw wool and they produce yarn with it. And they're amazing. They deal with really small shepherds. And when I was over there visiting her, some lady dropped off 80 pounds of raw wool that was just shorn off the sheep. And and several months later, this person's going to get beautiful dyed yarn. And what I was going to suggest to her is, wow, that's an amazing process. I'm looking at all these machines, and she's explaining how it all happens. I said, take story pictures of that process, every step of the way. So you can see it. It comes from raw wool, it's brought in, it's carded, it's cleaned, it's, whatever. It goes through this, loom, and it comes out, and then they dye it, and go through the whole process and show how it's done. At the ski areas, getting a lift going. We did that once on the Mad River page. People don't know what goes on behind the scenes. People like to know what goes on behind the scenes in your business. If you can show, hey, you're making, Westville House is making breakfast. How do you go behind that? How do you go about it? The lifts. I did a whole thing with, with grooming and just going up with the groomer, going up and how they start a lift up. Little things like that are interesting, timeless. You can have that there, and maybe she can have her shepherd. All of her customers are shepherds that are raising sheep. And that's part of the story, those local people. And in that story, if you could have, pictures of the local shepherds, there's a lot to be said for that. Do you have a question?
Yeah. Do the stories have to be done real time with your phone, or can you pre-record them and then?
Good question. Yeah. The question is, do you have to do the photos in real time? You can't do either. So, and for me, you can do it right in the Instagram app. Okay, so if I'm on the home page and I want to take, so I go on to the story. If I want to add to the story, I click. Did you see what I did? I clicked on the story icon. Okay, and we're going to do this great picture. All right, and sorry, Kevin, I'm going to do this. So I hit. Wait, I'm going to go back. So I hit send to. Okay, let's have a little fun with this one. Okay, so if you look up here, okay, there's a couple different icons. If I click on the A up here, I can type. Okay, but that's boring. So let's go back. We're going to go done. So I can draw on it. Okay, like that. All right, but I don't like that. I'm going to undo that. So I'm going to hit done. What I like to use is these, as you can see, and I've been criticized for doing this too much, okay? So let's say a basic thing is a hashtag. So if I hit on hashtag, it's going to come up and I can say Mad River, if I can see without my glasses, Mad River Valley, okay? There's my hashtag, and I can do that, okay? And then if I hit close that out. And now I can use it and I can move it around. Or actually I can't, can I? Oh, there we go. All right. Send to. And it goes there. And I'm going to send that to our story. Boom. All done. And you hit done. And it's there. Does that. And there you are. You look fabulous. So,
Eric, can you take us through again how you got that starting point, how you took the photograph? And
yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm going to hit this first, and this is our existing story. And then I'm going to tap that, and that brings me right to the camera. Now, your question was, do you have to do it live? The answer is no. And one of the things, I don't like doing a lot of stuff in the Instagram app. I prefer to use the camera because you have more, more features that you can use with your camera and zoom and things like that. So if you want to use an existing picture, you click right there, and here are all the pictures that I've taken recently. So I can select this is great. My septic. The thing out to my septic is leaking, so it's dripping. So I was taking a picture from my plumber this morning. Okay, so all right, this will be good. I was over talking to the ladies yesterday over at All Things Bright and Beautiful. I'm going to put them in my story because I didn't do that already. Okay, so I clicked on them. All right, and I'm going gonna say, oh, I know what we'll do. So when you click on this, this has a bunch of different, like the time, you know, the weather, whatever. But I want to do something fun, and I know these people are really into teddy bears, okay? So if I put in here, teddy bear, and these things will start popping up, okay? And this, see, I'm not that creative. I just come up with ideas to come up with. So there's Build-A-Bear, there's, let's see, what do we want to put in there? What would be fun?
Grateful Dead.
Oh, where's the Grateful Dead one? No, let's go with Very Fun, because I think they would appreciate that.
Don't block the dog. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put it right there. And then I hit send to. And then I hit share. And again, I can put this, I can put it here if I wanted to, but I'd rather put it on the story. So I click on story. Done. And there it is. And then when you click on it again, they're there. Okay? Yeah, you have a
Can you
question?
explain hashtags?
Yeah, oh, I'm gonna get to hashtags. Oh, that's a whole, we're absolutely gonna talk about hashtags for sure. Oh, well, one of the ones I want to show you, and I'm really glad you're here, Yvonne, was the collection. And I thought the collection, VT collection, okay. One of the things that I really liked the way Yvonne used her highlights with the events, okay? And these are different events that she's done for a while. And what's nice, and this is throughout the year, right? Yvonne, where?
I haven't done all, this is when Morgan was still with me and she's in
Yeah.
school now, so.
Yep. So this is a book signing that she did, and these are all just different events that she's had there. And what's nice is that's going to live there. And when she has an event next month or whatever, she'll take some pictures and she can add to it. So that's a really good way to use that, events. And think about ways that you can use that in your business. Like, for example, you know, if for the Valley Players and the craft fair, have all the artists on there.
Yeah.
You know, have a list, you know, of all of the kids. Kid things, be really careful about pictures online with children. I always ask permission. I mean, in Mad River, at the ski areas and things, we would get signed releases and things, and I don't think you necessarily need to do that, but be really conscious of that for obvious reasons. So now the big question, hashtags versus the @ sign, okay? Does anyone know what the difference is? I know you know. You want to tell us what are the difference? What's the difference?
Well, like an @ sign is like if you do like like the VT collection, that will tell like the collection that you posted something about them. But hashtags you do like hashtag Vermont, hashtag Mad River Valley, hashtag Valley Arts, and then people that's like look through stuff like that, your picture will pop up and then they'll be able to follow you or like it.
Exactly.
So the @ is the handle.
Exactly. The
hashtag
@ is the specific place of, refers to a person, refers to a group, your business and a conversation, and that's what, and that's what the @ sign is, okay?
But you have to be following them first to
Yes.
use that correctly and
Correct.
have it show up, correct?
Yes.
No, you don't.
You know?
I'm sorry, wait, say that one more time?
You don't have to be following that person to have.
Oh, no, you don't have, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, in terms of putting an @ sign,
Yeah.
right, and I'll show you, like, we're going to show you kind of what the difference is. The @ sign refers to a person or a group, okay? And a hashtag really is a conversation that you want to continue. So let's say the hashtag that we use here is Mad River Valley. And that's the one we consistently use, and we encourage everyone here to use that because that's kind of all encompassing of what we do, okay? So when you look at, if I do a search for Mad River Valley, why am I not coming up here? Because I can't
It's
see
a
it.
hashtag search, no?
Yeah, that's it. Mad River. Okay, there I am. So I click on Mad River Valley. Okay, and so that one went right to our profile page. Okay. What you're asking is, I'm sorry, with the @ sign, I want to show you kind of a way to kind of differentiate that a little bit more. The hashtags are, like I said, an ongoing conversation. It's Mad River Valley. If you're talking about arts, VT Arts. If you're talking about fish, you know, it's you know, I don't know, whatever ones that are out there that are talking about people that are interested in fish, or people that are interested in talking about bed and breakfasts or
But you
arts.
have to set it up, I mean.
I would, no, you know, go
Deeper
research.
information about hashtags.
What's that?
I would like deeper information about hashtags.
What you want to, you need to think about and go look at, so if you're doing the, for
The craft
for the craft fair, okay? You want to start looking at hashtags and start researching them and looking through them and seeing which ones are applicable. And I would say, you know, the more specific you can get is going to be the best. It's going to reach the people. You know, the people who are looking at hashtags, they follow them. Okay, I follow Mad River Valley, so anyone that puts Mad River Valley on there, it's going to come up in my feed. So you want to start thinking about, you know, who is going to be searching and looking for the craft fair. Okay, so maybe it's the Vermont Crafters Guild, or you know, or just VT Crafts, or I don't know. You have to go through and kind of play around.
So you-
I would even look at what your artists are using. Look at their at their feeds and seeing what hashtags they're using.
So you research existing hashtags and you pick the best of them and you use them on all of your posts?
Yeah, or applicable ones, not necessarily all of them. I mean, I put Mad River Valley on here, everything,
Right.
okay?
And
Yeah,
then
Joe.
what happens?
I just want to say, when you go to type in the hashtag in your post, suggestions come up,
Right.
and they'll say how many posts have those hashtags, so you have an idea, oh, this is a popular hashtag, or this is one that I'm the first person to ever use this. And depending, sometimes I'll do that, because it's just, I'm trying to be silly, right? So I'm just being hashtag, you know, whatever. But if I want a lot of engagement, I'll put hashtag Bookstagram, because there's 1 million+ posts with Bookstagram as a hashtag.
Okay, so then take it to the next step. So then when somebody is following that hashtag, then they're gonna see whatever you, it
Right.
forces that post to them.
Yes.
Fair?
Yep.
Just to be clear, when you did the search there, you did a search for Mad River Valley and not a search for hashtag Mad River
Correct,
Valley.
that was the mistake when I wasn't
There's a
looking.
big difference. So if you do the search for
Yep.
hashtag Mad River Valley, you get 17,000 some odd people that are following that, or that. So if you want to do a search, make sure that you start it with a hashtag. If you want to search the
Right.
hashtag itself.
Exactly. So when you're putting in a post, and again, so for example, let's just, I'm not gonna do one, I'm just gonna do a post here.
With the hashtag, you may get more visitors as opposed to businesses that might use the hashtag Mad River Valley, because they may be taking photos here and they want people to know where they took this beautiful
And it's
photo
more
on their
it's-
personal account.
It's more targeted. Mad River Valley is going to be very broad. Vermont's going to be even broader. New England's going to be even broader. You know, you really need to figure out, and the example that you brought up is that they will suggest things. The algorithms suggest things, and they know what they're following, what you're doing. They're pretty good at it. So, focus on the quality hashtags. When you find a hashtag with just a handful, you know, there's not that many people looking at it. So if you look at, Vermont vacations, for example, I put stuff on there because, I use that hashtag because a lot of people are looking at it and might be looking at coming to Vermont generally.
Is there a way that you could use too many hashtags?
It's funny that you said that. It always annoyed me personally to see.
What's the question?
Oh, I'm sorry, the question is, can you use too many hashtags? And I always thought you could. And from what I'm realizing, it doesn't offend people. And what I'm understanding more and more is that you can't have too many hashtags. Do you agree? That you can't overdo it. I would always look at stuff, I would get annoyed, especially in the ski industry. You'd have some kid posting a video and he's, quote unquote, sponsored by all these different ski companies and, and clothing companies and, hashtag, Rosnol, hashtag Panda Poles, hashtag Smith Goggles, and it's like, really? And it's kind of annoying.
I find the same thing. It's like, I do not see a detriment in terms of using too many hashtags. In fact, I don't see a lot of, in terms of typing in content and messaging and all that sort of thing, I don't think that gets noticed really a lot. But
I'm sorry, you don't think what gets noticed a lot?
so if you're typing like a long text, message within
Mhm.
that Instagram post, I've seen longer messages and some really short ones, but I'm just kind of curious in terms of, I don't think anybody knows the answer, maybe Instagram does, but, are people really consuming that text content versus the pictures and the videos?
I don't know. I really don't.
So
Yes.
if you put 5 hashtags onto a post,
Mhm.
and say Cindy was following all of those hashtags, would she get it 5
It
times?
would come up once.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
It would come up once and if it was multiple hashtags.
Much
Yeah, I
like,
know.
much like parent company Facebook, Instagram is also filtering what gets in the hashtag stream. So I follow hashtag modernism, hashtag modern architecture, but if I put a post in hashtag modernism, I don't see mine in the hashtag modernism feed for some reason.
Mhm.
And maybe it's because I only have 1,000 followers or whatever, whereas the other people may have 10,000 and maybe that's a requirement.
Yeah.
But certainly Facebook and Instagram, the parent company, is messing with the feed in some sort of popularity contest algorithm.
Mhm.
And so just because you hashtag something doesn't mean that everybody who follows that is going to see it.
And you can
In
hide
my
the
terms,
hashtags
yes.
so people don't have to see them if you bring them down lower.
Yeah, and I mean, as Keith said, I don't think it matters. I just don't think it, it doesn't bother people. So I just, I just don't think it matters that much anymore. And it's how you're using the hashtags is how you're gonna reach your audience and reach a greater audience. And I think that's the way to really succeed in it. We're getting close on time, but I really want to talk about, basically how to post to an account and, what you need to do. So like I said, if I'm going to do a post, I click on, well, let me go back, I'm sorry. I'm going to click on there, okay? And I'm going to go find a picture in my library that I'm going to use, all right? And there's, actually, let's do something a little more interesting. That one didn't come out
It's a
very
little
good.
blasphemous.
Yeah, it was not a great, let's see.
More interesting than a church.
The cows were always good. Everyone loves the cows. I don't know if I have anything I really want to post here. Let's see.
But you're not gonna post today's workshop?
What's that?
You wouldn't, because.
I'd like to, that's a really good question. Would I post today's workshop? Not today, unless I was taking a video, but when we have this up on Mad River TV, I'm absolutely gonna post it. And then I'll say, and here's the link that people can copy and paste and put into it. So that's the way I would do it.
Timing is important to you.
Timing's huge. Because, we have a nice turnout for this, which is great, but we have 150 members and we have maybe 15 people here. So there's, 90% of our members are not here. And it'd be great to give them the opportunity to pick something up here. So that's why we're gonna try to reach them. So here, there's my wife. We were hiking up at, this will be a good one. All right, and I'll do this and we'll say, I'm gonna select that. Oh, it's still loading it up, as you can see here. All right, and then I hit next. And I'm not a big filter guy. Like some people are, and these are the different filters, and it changes the look. And it kind of makes it cool. I mean, that Clarendon, that's like the classic Instagram-y sort of look. You can do all sorts of things to it. For me personally, I actually even did hashtag no filter because I wanted to show how beautiful it is here all by itself. Okay, so I hit next, and I'm gonna. This is again is really important. I'm gonna tag. I'm gonna add a location. Okay, that's really important. All right, because people might be looking. If it's West Hill Bed and Breakfast, it's gonna pop up there. This happens to be Burnt Rock Mountain. Shows where it is. I'm gonna tag people. She'll get really annoyed with me, and I'm gonna say this is my wife Holly, which I don't think she's gonna come up. Is she? Yeah, there she is. That's my girl. And there she is. All right. And so it says, I tap the photo, tag it, and people will come up. And you can see that's her name, Holly Zames. And I can drag it around. I can move it here, or I can put put it on her butt, like that. And when I'm done and I'm happy where it is, she won't like that. So I'll put it at her feet, and I'll put that done, and I'm gonna write, what do I wanna write? I got some, it's hard to be pithy in front of all these people. Let's say,
Base jumping at Sunset Rock.
that, it's not Sunset Rock, it's Bird Rock.
So don't jump, Holly.
Oh,
I love you.
okay. So this is, all right, I'm getting good here. So many great hiking opportunities here in the MRV, okay? And I'm going to put an exclamation point because my buddy Steve Wright, there's the president JP, hates exclamation points, so I always put them in there just to annoy him. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my hashtags, okay? So we're going to do hashtag Mad River Valley, all right?
And Eric, you can also tag Mad River Valley, right, instead of putting.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Hashtag Mad River Valley. And what's going to be interesting here is if you notice this comes up and you see that picture, all right? And you notice it's not the logo. And the reason it's not the logo is the app. If I search at Mad River Valley, it would come up as the logo. This is one that's just, I think it's the most recent picture or whatever. So I didn't create Mad River Valley. I don't know who created it. Maybe Jasmine did, or maybe it was done, years before that. So, but it's there. So the other one, again, this is a good example of another hashtag that I want to use is the MRV Trails, I believe. MRV Trails. Whoops, not trawls. Okay, there it is. And if you notice, there's only 5 posts on it, and I think I've posted every one of them, okay? But and here's another thing that I'm going to try to do is, oops. Why is that not? I want to say here, MRV Trails. Oops.
And there's just a space between.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to get rid of that. Okay, MRV Trail, here in the MRV. Exclamation point. Okay, what I want to show you how I'm going to do a link. So if you look at learn more at www.madrivervalley.com. Did I spell it wrong? Ah, darn it. valley.com/trails. Okay, and that is a new page that we've put onto our website. Whoops. That's a new page that's on the website that has all of our hiking trails on it. Okay, so they can cut and paste it. All right, I hit OK. When I'm ready, make sure it's.
But you can do that because you have more than 10,000 followers.
No, we don't. We absolutely no. That's not a live link. That's not a live link. They have to cut and paste that. And I hit share, and it's done. So then when I go to the home page, or not home page, our profile page, there she is. And I can click on her, and there's Holly. And I scroll down, and you can see what it is. And again, I can cut and paste that. All right. And then again, to view insights, you can see how many people are looking at it, and you can like it or don't like your own stuff, right? Never like your own stuff. It's a bad luck.
It's
okay?
tricky if you have more than one administrator on your social media accounts because one of the other administrators may like it, not realize which account they're logged into when they like it.
Excellent point.
So can you have more than one administrator on an account?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is that a pitfall or is it okay?
No, it's a great thing. The question is, do you have more than one more admins on the account? Absolutely. Like Ginger and I can both post, And if I had a trusted, you know, like someone like Peter, who's is the chair of our board, you know, I would absolutely put him on as an admin. I want people to post more, especially with the stories, because, you know, more is better. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
So the hashtags, the one that you want us to use is hashtag Mad River Valley.
Yeah, and that's something that we're gonna work on as a community and in this organization. We're gonna be talking about hashtags consistently over time. Everything should say Mad River Valley on it, okay? One of the ones that I'm trying to do is that MRV Trails, okay? And I want us to get into that convention of MRV Trails, MRV Eats, MRV Shop, all the retailers are using the same one. I think Shop MRV is what I'd like to see us do, or Eat MRV. But we gotta be consistent with it, and I think like the restaurant groups, I think this is one of the things that the different business sectors can all kind of wrap their heads around and work together. The real estate people can do the same thing. You know, MRV real estate, you know, that whatever's coming up, if there's an interesting thing, there's some interesting property that's for sale or whatever. It doesn't necessarily need to be a competitive thing, just something that's interested in, you know, what's going on in the real estate world. I think that's how, you know, you can do those things, but if we're all consistent with it, and if all the realtors are using it, if all the restaurants are using it, there's a lot of opportunities there.
In that vein, marketing ourselves by marketing each other as chamber members.
Yeah.
So if I go and maybe I do a story, West Hill B&B, and I said, or I repost something from West Hill B&B, and I say, you know, from our friends over at West Hill Road, and then they're doing one for the VG is doing New Hurons, New Hurons is doing me. And we're collectively building each other followers, getting the message out there. But then two other things, so you can pay to have your ad sponsored. How effective is that? And then what about paying to get followers? Is that effective?
That's something I think I'd like to leave for another day, and I want to bring in a better expert than I.
Okay.
Because frankly, I don't have a lot of experience at that. They never gave me a budget at Mad River Glen, and I certainly don't have it here.
Good
so I'm not even looking
okay,
at it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it absolutely matters. And you know, one of the things that I really highly recommend is don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, there's a lot of really smart people doing this, and you guys are gonna think I'm nuts. Go check out Kylie Jenner. Okay, like the woman, say whatever you like about her, and whether you might not like her or not, but the woman's made like $900 million in the last year. Okay, a lot of it via Instagram. Okay. And look how she uses things, look how she does things. I mean, she has gazillions of followers, right? And there's a reason for it. She does a really good job with it. What I wanted to kind of leave you with is just a few suggestions of things that you can do. You know, I really think that you show product. People want to see the inside scoop, how things are done. And one of the ones that I thought of when I was thinking about an example of that was, I really am having trouble seeing, I'm sorry, is Plowgate butter.
Oh, you have it.
I did have it. It's so frustrating. Gosh. There we go. Okay. Plowgate Creamery. Okay. She's showing making butter. She's showing people eating butter. She's showing the beautiful farm in the community. She's showing herself. She's showing, you know, I mean, this is just amazing photography, you know? Has nothing to do with butter, but it's talking about the place, okay? This is another one. I mean, wow, this is such a spectacular image, right? And that's their farm. You know, that's gonna make me when I go there, I'm gonna remember that. You know, this is, you know, again, making butter, how it's done, wrapping it by hand. That's telling the story of what this place is all about. You can do those sorts of things. I mean, I think you do a really nice job of the collection. You know, you're showing your dog, you're showing the kids, you're showing your employees having fun. You're relating to people. That's why you go to the collection as opposed to going to Toys R Us in Williston. I mean, that's, you know.
Well, they're closed now.
Well, so they're closed because of you? Wow, I'm impressed.
Put them out of business.
So again, I really think it's important to like, really, show who you are. Show what your company stands for. Like if you're, the one that kind of came up to me, I was thinking about this, where is it? VT North. Vermont North Ski Shop, seasonal ski shop, only open in the winter, all right? Cute pictures, tough day on the slopes for this guy, huh? All right? But what I really love is the owners there are really into high fives. And Roy Tuscany started High Fives, local kid. Jesse, one of the owners, his daughter is like one of the big fundraisers. He's on the board. This is their passion. So they talk about this, all right? It's really important. Again, natural beauty. This is where why we live here. This is why you should come visit here. So I think they did, again, this is a great one. This was up at Mad River, as you can see, and this is important for us because at Mad River, we get some love there. And this is Glenn Plake singing at Mad River this year, all right, with one of his kids.
Whaling.
What's that?
Whaling.
Oh, is that what? Okay, I can't see nothing. But again, so that's again, what's important to you? What are the things that differentiate your business? What are what do you stand for? That's things. I think that's really important. Show photos, just not just your products. Appeal to potential customers if you can do that. They maybe have an interest in looking at a photo. Maybe they would be interested in looking at a photo of your product. But show how your customers fit into your lives. Show how your customers might be using that particular product. If it's, I don't know, I'm looking around the room who, guests staying at your inn, having a good time, sitting around having coffee, having breakfast, people coming into the fish shop and, talking about, whatever. And again, I think, Susie over at, from Sugarfish, I think that's such a unique place over there. You have this like little spot that when I went over there and you were showing, this is such this amazing place, next to the laundromat, which I never thought of this amazing, beautiful place. And then she shows me around, and I was like, wow, this is gorgeous here. Take advantage of that. I mean, there's a really great opportunity. Like show that you can go to the Sugarfish and walk right around the back of the building, and there's this beautiful pathway right up to downtown that people don't necessarily realize. By the way, hashtag MRV Mad River Path and hashtag Mad River Valley, and that's how you start building your network. Latch on to big events. If there's a big event going on, or a not so big event going on, latch on to the Festival of the Arts. We have a month-long thing for Vermont Festival of the Arts. Latch onto that. Go to the events, promote the events. Take advantage of those things. Ski shops, when the FIS World Cup is at Killington, the ski shops can be on that. Mad River Glen, when I was at Mad River, we were on that. And that was sending people to Killington. But I know that when I did that hashtag, people were looking at that hashtag and saying, oh, Mad River Glen, they're supportive of what's going on with this racing. So, do those kinds of things. What else? Instagram contests. That's a great way to build your following. You can do a photo contest. You can do a contest of people necessarily somehow using your products. You can do
giveaways, ticket giveaways.
Yeah. Oh, you can do all sorts of. There's so many different things that you can do. I mean, I started doing it, and I haven't done it on Instagram. I was doing it on Facebook. Was to spot the shot. Taking a very close-up picture of something and getting people to engage and guess where it is. And we'll give you a sticker, and we get a lot of engagement from those things. And what else? Maybe there's a couple of tips. Location's really important. Okay, so let's say Yvonne, on Saturday morning, farmers market's going on. You go take a picture and say, hey, this is going on, at the collection, and you tag the farmers market, for example. People that are right then and there are looking at their phone and saying, I can go right over there and buy this product if you're like that. Use use the geography to your advantage. You know, places like the store, people like, you know, maybe over at the Village Green. Right? Am I getting this right? I always get my shopping centers mixed up. Chamber of Commerce, that's really bad, right? But like all of those stores over by the Hurons, and you know, especially with all the restaurants, you have all this traffic across the street. Use those tags to bring them over. Use them, you know, with some kind of a promotion. You know, so those are the sorts of, you know, some ideas that, you know, that we have. The last thing I kind of want to say, and I'll open up to questions, is this consistency of usage. Please use MadRiverValley.com, okay? Just if there's anything you can do for this business community and for yourselves, if again, as Wendell was saying, it's really important for us to support one another and be active on their accounts, follow your local businesses. It's really, really important to that. It's going to help everybody by doing that. So try to do that. Shop MRV, eat MRV. Start looking at them. If you come up with an idea, let us know about it. And that's something we can promote. If there's a really good hashtag that we should be using that we're not, let's think about it. I hope this was helpful. The one thing I do want to say too, the question that everyone always asks me, and I'm surprised no one's asked me, how many times should I post? And it seems to me that you don't want to do it more than 2 or 3 times a day. Posts, not stories, okay? Stories you can go hog wild, but posts a couple, 3 times a day at the most, and try not to be repetitive.
So my millennial children would say on your personal accounts, 1 a day is the most you should do.
And if you're going to do more than 1, make it good. You know, like I would argue that picture I posted of my wife, that was a nice picture. It was a beautiful image, you know. But, you know, you don't want to do 2 of them, you know. Make it different. Does anyone have any other questions, comments, concerns? I hope I didn't, you know, I wanted to try to keep this kind of as basic as we can. But again, I want to reiterate, there's no wrong answers here. And you're not going to make mistakes. You're not going to, I mean, the worst thing, like I said, that's going to happen is no one's going to look at it. And so that's not such a, you know, don't sweat it. And don't be afraid to try things. And try when things working, you know, what time of day. At Mad River, I was always very conscious about doing things early in the morning. Because that's when people were looking at weather conditions, that's when people were thinking about going skiing. I'm noticing here it's a little bit different, so I'm kind of experimenting when I do it, and I'm probably overthinking it. And I think you can overthink this stuff a lot. And the other thing I just want to finish, you know, kind of going back full circle to where we started. This is one leg of your marketing stool. This is not the panacea for all your problems. It's got to be, you need to be on brand in everything that you do, not just Instagram. Everything should be working together. Everything should be supporting. Everything should be feeding back to your other channels. That when you turn around, when your customer or potential customer turns around at every turn, there you are. And that's what you want to try to do. And it's not so easy. But thank you all.
Thank you.